True Life and Music History, the Ants Human Stars podcast, with your hosts, Caleb and Digo. Are you ready? Steady. Go. Okay, we're watching Fast and Furious 10, right? X?
Yes, X, because it was X, yes. So
Okay.
yeah, we watched the 10th one.
And the scene is towards the end. For some reason, there's a nuclear submarine. I can't tell you why. Okay, there's a submarine. And the submarine CGIs itself out of water. The hatch opens, and who do we see?
Oh, yes!
Speaking of Israelis.
Okay, I'm sitting here like, there was a submarine in that movie? I was so high. Yes, Wonder Woman pops out. Yes.
Gal Gadot
Mhm,
comes
Gal Gadot.
out and has a 0.5 second scene in this movie that she probably got $1 million for.
Don't blink, y'all. Don't blink.
Yeah, no, serious.
Don't blink. Hold your eyes open.
Hands away from her, and you never see her again. Like, there's no part 2 of her. Like, no, it's just what
They don't even talk about her.
And the scene was so removed. It was just added later. She sat in a blue screen room. Was seated in a chair, stood up.
Mm-hmm.
She had no lines.
Mm-hmm. She probably got like a good $1 million, $2 million just to all right, come up out of it and then just look.
Yeah. Do that
Look
again.
stunning.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Money's it's on the way. Check in the mail. So I went and saw The Flash.
Mm-hmm. Which I must say, as I told you already, Fast and Furious was essentially just the Justice League. Like in another universe.
100%.
Because who else was in
the
that?
other argument is everything just Fast and Furious? Yeah,
exactly.
Because you know what?
Vin Diesel is Batman.
So here's what was happening. I went and saw Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, Version 1, Part 2, Scene A, and Indiana Jones. Okay, I went and saw Mission Impossible first because I thought, I wanted something good and I wanted to be thrilled.
Mm-hmm.
Quite possibly, if not, obviously the worst Mission Impossible of the series. And if not, one of the worst action movies I've seen. Would not rewatch. Boring.
So you will not be kind and rewind. You will stop the movie and give it right back.
So many times, so many instances in the movie did I say, should I just go? This is the time. Now I should go. I should really go. No, this is...
Dang.
The movie was terrible. It was trash. I don't understand.
Was it just lacking on the plot, and was it just
plot ridiculous?
As most action
plot ridiculous.
movies,
plot was, and usually Mission Impossibles have a pretty complicated yet cool plot. Not this was some madness. Whoever wrote this,
was it just action to be action?
I wish there was action to be action. But you know what it had more of? A lot of talking. A lot of talking.
Tom Cruise is like, I'm not doing these stunts. Okay, so add in some more lines.
There's just talking and talking and talking. And it's just like so much talking. It's that they're like, I laughed at the angles that they had to give them, like an extreme angle when they're talking, to the person, just giving them an extreme angle, kind of like to make the scene less boring because they're just talking. Mm-hmm. And they always have this extreme face about them because they're all like crazy people or whatever. And it was weird, and then it's all supposed to be really intense, but I'm just not. And I'm a person who's here for Mission Impossible. I'm here for it because I'm a James Bond lover, and they're kind of cousins, and I take the same thrill. I am open for it. So when I say to you that it sucked from the bottom of my heart. And I don't even know if my mom, who is also a lover of Mission Impossible, should see it. I'd be like, don't put that in your mind. Don't put that in your heart.
Don't waste that hour, those 2 hours of your life. Like use those 2 hours or something else. Is that what you're saying?
It's sort of like, because it's like, right. You're creating this character over so many movies, and all of a sudden he trips for the first time to me. We kind of he kind of tripped in Mission Impossible too, but it's all right. It was the second one. We all forgive that. It's fine. It was John Woo's fault anyway. The doves. Anyway, somebody out there is like, yeah, I get it. The doves. But this, my theory is, because there's similarities and problems with Indiana Jones. My theory is that this was a pandemic movie. Made in during the pandemic, therefore, these problems, like the adjustments needed to do these scenes, was probably not conducive for better writing, better acting, better anything. I think it was just like, this is what a pandemic movie looks like. Shitty. I hope they can redeem themselves for the second one, and I probably will only show Mom the second one. Yeah, even the action sequences that like are notorious in Mission Impossible, like, oh, the huge stunt, literally did it. Was bored. I wasn't thrilled. In these movies, there's so many scenes where he's like hanging off of a window on the tallest building and trying to swing, and you're like, you're on the edge, right? No edge. No edging.
not a single edge.
Not a single edge. All of a sudden, and this was happening, I'm trying to get to a point, but all of a sudden, like many times throughout the movie, a woman enters. With I'm just like in Fast Furious X, when we were sort of confused at why suddenly this person who just walked into the scene, because we haven't seen the Fast and Furiouses either, so like we don't know who's who and what's what, so we were like a little lost some scenes in Fast and Furious. Well, same scenario for
this
Mission Impossible. It not as extreme. It's just like, why is this bitch showing up so important, intense? Why this bitch?
Okay, now I have to ask, do you think that this is also suffering, which many franchises are suffering, because they shouldn't be these longer franchises, where it's just like, you guys should have stopped 5 movies ago. Like, we didn't need
totally. I mean, I
keep going, like, because there's only so much you can do. I think this movie in particular, though, what its sins are the sins of Game of Thrones, Hunger Games, that instead of just making the final season and the final movie and creating a trilogy or whatever for Game of Thrones, you want to split it. So it's Hunger Games finale, part 1. It's like, don't do that. I think that is the biggest problem, because the first movie tends to be long and boring, and then the second movie that has all the action that you envisioned for really one movie. You created one movie, but you will split them, and so the first movie is just lackluster and boring. That was my experience when I saw Hunger Games 1. I can't remember the second one. I remember the second one's finale. Did you see the Hunger Games? Yeah.
So
actually,
you remember that finale?
I watched.
They're like in the grass and they're in the baby, and I'm like, really? It ends like this?
I didn't watch the last 2 movies, I think, because I had already read the books.
I got you.
So I think I only
was there a grass and a baby? Was there a baby in a grassy field in the end of the books?
I don't remember.
This is too much. I was like, this is too happy ending. This is ridiculous. Okay, but wait. Mission Impossible sucked. It was terrible.
Okay.
I almost want to walk out, but I didn't. Held on. So I wanted to wash that with Indiana Jones, and it's like I washed myself with just water. I still wasn't clean from that experience because Indiana Jones also had problems, but it had such a touching ending for me that I loved. That ending, I'll take that. I'll take that, and then the rest of it can go in the trash. Anybody who saw the movie, you know what I'm talking about. It was very endearing. So I gave in and said, "What about the Flash? Maybe something there." At least I washed my hands with that one. At least I washed my hands. Like it got me to a point where I was like, okay, I'm not out of the woods, but okay, but there's the opening sequences with what we know as the Avengers? No, Justice League.
Justice League.
Sorry. The current members, right? Because stuff is happening. All of a sudden, in the most epic moment for poor Flash, whatever his name is, both real name and actor name, in comes Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot, yet again, doing a pop in, pop out, pop out, pop in, pop out. You blink, you miss her in 2 movies.
Didn't we see? Wait, what? No, didn't we see a? Didn't we watch a movie where she comes in at the end? Oh, did you just see Shazam too?
Oh, and Shazam.
Yeah, I was like, that's what happened in Shazam. Like she didn't say a thing. She walked in.
She is literally popping in. She's literally popping in, popping out. All these movies are getting paid millions.
She's like, I'm not saying a line.
I'm not.
Oh my gosh.
So she
okay. I'm sorry. Continue.
With her, I mean, at least she was dressed. At least like for the 2.7 million she got paid for that one scene, she had to put on the outfit. She's still looking good. Nothing's changed there. But of course, as we have seen, I don't even think she's going to continue as Wonder Woman, and it just feels like. This is stupid.
Wow, yeah.
Like to see her in a new movie knowing that she's not Wonder Woman, it just feels like this is bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that the Flash's whole movie experience was good. I was entertained. Okay. But we're now kind of rehashing a lot of this. I mean, it's been done a couple of times, but recently in the Spider-Man trilogy with Tom Holland, the first movie, is it that he does something that almost destroys the entire universe?
Well, that was,
or is it
his? No, that was the most recent movie.
That he does something because of some frivolous
now all
thing.
The multiverses are combined. He doesn't want people to remember that's Peter Parker Spider-Man.
Okay.
And then he does something and it messes up all the multiverses are crashing.
And that's exactly what happened as the plot for the Flash. But the difference is, of course, that Flash is always looking to save his mom from dying. But what we later know as Flash lore reveals, it's himself. It's literally his same person in the future, crazy Flash, lost in time and dimension. That is the one who kills his mom. Isn't that crazy? It's kind of it's an interesting story they got going on with that thing. They do it in the series. Well, obviously, I suppose it comes from the comics. Okay, so because of that, it's an interesting plot, but of course, because the plot was already interesting. I wasn't here for the Flash. I wasn't here for whatever his name is.
Ezra Miller.
Who's a good actor. He's great.
He is, and
He
that's why
fulfills the role
I was a fan of him a long time
perfectly.
ago.
He does it well. But in general, I'm just not into the
But he's a terrible
Flash.
human being.
He's a terrible, yeah. But like, luckily, I'm like, so I'm saying like he was good at the role, but I didn't fall in love with him in this
Mm,
as the
okay.
Flash. I think generally because I don't like I'm as indifferent with the Flash as I am with Spider-Man. I'm sorry, everyone who's about to don't
No,
at me.
I think that's a lot of people. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, the Flash isn't Spider-Man for one.
yeah,
And that's
um,
what they want to make him.
yeah.
But
So two
yeah,
things. Okay, so I'm not there for Ezra. I'm not there for the Flash. You know who I'm there for.
yes, Mr. Michael Keaton.
I was rewarded.
Okay.
Rewarded.
Mm. Hard R.
Hard R. I didn't think it was going to be that much. My
Mm-hmm.
heart told me there's going to be 2 seconds of him in there, and that's it. And it's not really, he's not really going to be like an intricate part of it. There's just going to be some no. It runs the plot. The whole movie, like, is yes, Ezra fucks up time to save his mom, but the first person he's able to get in touch and help him is Michael Keaton in the other dimension that he got sucked into or whatever. Oh, it was so nice. It was so nice. Why? Why? So I noticed at first, and I was like, "Oh, this is really good." When Gal Gadot was there for 2 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
she had her theme.
Okay. Okay. Good. Because it's great. It's a great theme.
She showed up with her theme, and I'm like, "Ooh, I like this. I like this. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
cool. Nice touch." Action sequences for Michael Keaton. He had his original theme, bro. He had his
Oh
original
wow.
theme. The Batman theme came back, and like it was such a surprise. It was like that
Mm-hmm.
was the best part of it all. I was like, I never thought I would get to be hearing this again. Not only
Mm-hmm.
like see Michael Keaton as Batman, but like they brought back what I have been yelling at as part
Mm-hmm.
of the problem, and there it was, fixed. Yes,
Mm.
it was much more thrilling a scene with the music. But more than that, yeah, like I said, he's like fighting extended action sequences with Batman as Michael
Wow.
Keaton. It's just not like, of course, it's all CGI and that's fine. But like, I mean, it's much more
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
than I
Him
expected,
just talking.
and just that alone, I wish I could just like somebody do this. Somebody cut up the movie whenever you're available to, and just give me the Keaton sequences. I'll watch those over and
Yes.
over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so to finish the Flash thing, it's just it was really nice to see that. And honestly, I had this fantasy of an ending. That's not the ending I
Mm-hmm.
got, but for anybody who wants to give me the Pfeiffer cut,
Mm.
because remaking a movie is on the table these days. So
Exactly.
can somebody give me the Pfeiffer cut, which I'll describe as follows. At the end of the movie, you have to change the thing that would make this possible, so I don't give away the ending. Change this, change the plot so that this is now possible. Michael Keaton driving up to that alleyway, the same one we saw in Batman One, where he lays the flowers to his parents, the usual
Mm-hmm.
scene that we all
Mm-hmm.
know. And maybe it's the sound effect of her heels on the pavement. Maybe it's just the sense that he has, but he turns and it's Michelle Pfeiffer. She knows he goes to the same place every year. They haven't seen each other for years. A decade, over a decade. They haven't seen each other.
Mm-hmm.
But she knows he always goes, and this time she feels like seeing him. It's Christmas, of course. It's snow is falling.
Okay. I feel like that's another classic Batman, but continue.
They close in. No lines are being shared. But she pulls out the mistletoe from her pocket. And it ends. Because that's the famous line from Batman Returns.
Oh.
That's how they find out that they're both like who they are.
Okay.
And there. I don't even have to see them kiss. I'll just be like, that's enough. Just to have that one scene of Michelle Pfeiffer just not even dressed as Catwoman would blow every Catwoman that has come on screen since her out of the water. She doesn't even have to show up in her garb, and I would regard that scene highly and much more high than any of the other Catwomans, especially in the Nolan universe.
Yeah, was that even Catwoman? That was cosplay.
100%. She doesn't have to have ears. I don't understand. Like, aren't you trying to make this like realistic? Like, why does she, like Batman has ears because he's crazy? Okay, why she gotta have ears? You could have done something else. You could have figured something else out.
But her ears looked
But
extra. Her ears looked extra, like Playboy Bunny ears. like thinking back on it, like recalling the photo.
It was like an afterthought.
Yeah, it was very much like somebody run to Party City real quick.
Yes. That's my exact point. It seemed like you just put it on, no explanation, and then because you felt like you had to. Where I would have said like, don't use it. Don't use the. But she's Catwoman. But if you're not gonna do like in the Batman, where she's got a whole
outfit, thing. Yeah,
and they start out with in the beginning of the movie, she wears kind of like it's not the full outfit yet. It's sort of like a sweater or scarf thing that she's got wearing or something, and it has a little bit of, accent to it. But anyways, it doesn't look like it came from Party City. It was like a stylized, cool thing that she was wearing, like like Michelle Pfeiffer was wearing in her scenes, like with this sort of like a tiara look to it. Was very like, yeah, you're not giving me the fantasy. I'm sorry, you didn't give me the fantasy. So anyway,
well, I'm gonna check out The Flash on Friday because it comes to streaming, so I'm gonna watch it.
Do it. And give it because I mean, again, you need to see Michael Keaton.
Literally, I'm watching it for
CGI
you.
Character.
Yeah, literally, I'm watching it for you and your excitement.
Okay. One more thing I could say about it is, and you'll get to see the CGI. It's true.
It's bad.
It's okay. There's a specific part that's extra terrible, but in general, I do sense the sort of rushed job, but it's not everywhere. So so in general, like I think people when they're complaining about CGI nowadays, it's not The Rock in Scorpion King. Okay, but there are some scenes that are The Rock from Scorpion King. Like in general, the CGI problems are just the rushed CGI problems, but there are some things that they're showing in so much CGI mess that happens in The Flash. So it's like as much CGI as in Doctor Strange. Same because or in the Spider-Verse, whatever, because the dimensions and everything. So it's just a mess of CGI to show that. And in that mess, that's okay. There's a mess of Scorpion Kings.
Gotcha.
Same artist that made the Scorpion King that hired him to make this.
They're like, come on back.
We want that early 2000s Scorpion King look.
Exactly. Oh my. Well,
that's a step down from 1993's Jurassic Park.
I have seen a lot of people say they're like, how has CGI gotten worse? Like 10 years ago, the CGI was actually not bad, and now it's just like, what is going on? It's because they're doing too much. They're relying too much on CGI.
Superwoman in the Flash movie, she's great, whatever. But it's the Superman side story that I really didn't even need. But it's also it's the driver of the movie too. But anyway, Superwoman or Supergirl. No, she's a Superwoman. Whatever. Apparently, she's got the actress is wearing an outfit that is made real life, and then apparently and I did notice a little bit, they CGI it, to add zhuzh
And
to
it's
it,
yeah,
where it didn't need it,
yeah.
and then it therefore looks fake.
Exactly, because they're trying to make it like, oh, we're gonna make it even more superhero esque, and it's like, okay, like calm down. We already know this world is fake. They don't need to look fake.
But also, some poor person took such the time and energy and effort to make a seamless superhero outfit that looks amazing, looks real in person. It is functional. It's like, you have 2000s X-Men leather, and now we have like what an actual superhero would actually wear, and that's what they're making. And you CGI on top. Why? Like, you don't have to cover up anything. It's actually a beautiful outfit, and instead of wasting money and resources and everything to no. You that would be still same thing for Indiana Jones. And Mission Impossible needed a whole lot more work than just CGI. That was not their problem. Yeah.
My. Well,
so I'm not going to see Barbie.
Okay.
Until it's on streaming. Oppenheimer, I have no interest.
At all. Yeah.
It's a Nolan. It's a Nolan. Sorry.
Also, it's like I'm not a fan of war movies at all, and so it's just too close to that kind of this like period piece, and oh my gosh, white people and white troubles, and we have to make this. It is the most important thing in the history of and I'm like, is it? Nah.
It's honestly like it's sort of boring looking.
No, for real. Like, it looks really. I'm just like, this looks really, and it's long. They already said it's like 2.5 hours or something.
It's a Nolan. Nolan can't make anything less than about 3 hours.
I'm like, nah, I'm good. I don't need to. I don't need to see that.
But I want to see Beetle, for sure. Again, because I have
They did not do a good job of promoting, because I did not know that movie was coming out last weekend, and I literally just logged onto Twitter. Yes, I'm still calling it Twitter because I don't care what that Tesla man thinks he's gonna call stuff.
God!
And
were we really supposed to say X? Is that what
I'm not saying X?
It's just literally, I was on X.
I'm not saying X.
What the fuck is that?
That's stupid. It's really dumb. Why didn't he just make his own? Why didn't you just make your own? Like, you had to take something and destroy it. If you wanted there to be an X, go make an X. Anyways, I don't want to talk about that, man. I logged on and then I saw like, oh, Blue Beetle's out this weekend. Like, I don't feel like they did a good job with promoting it as hard as they probably should have. But anyways, it's neither here nor there.
Well, they were busy promoting hold on, let me think.
Because that's Warner Brothers.
Disney owns Indiana Jones. Yeah, so Disney, who does Blue Beetle.
No. Disney doesn't do Blue Beetle. That's Warner Brothers.
Oh, really? Oh, I thought
that's a DC character. Disney has Marvel.
I assumed Marvel.
Oh, no.
I didn't. I don't know who Blue Beetle is. Yeah. So obviously, I just assumed.
No.
So it is DC.
He's
oh,
not
that's interesting.
So
okay. Well, then it's so. I mean, it was the same. For me, it's the same either way. So either it was Disney because they're distracted with Indiana Jones and other things that they wanted to focus on, or it was Warner Brothers and they were focused on Flash and all doing that, and they're like noticing that Flash is tanking as not tanking,
but it
did.
But it totally did.
They didn't make the money they thought they were going to make. It was always. I'm always like, here's one point. Like, I get that you didn't make the billions that you wanted to, but say you spent say you spent like, 1 billion to make this movie, and you only got 900 left, 900 back, but like 900 million went to people. And I always think about that too. I'm like, you didn't,
Mm-hmm.
as a company, get your profits, but still, all those people that made that movie got that
Yeah.
money and got paid.
And then it goes to the other
And
yeah, and then it goes to the other conversation that I'm seeing that people are talking about, like, why are you spending 350 million on a movie? Like, why does it take that much money?
CGI,
Well, no.
CGI,
But that's
CGI.
the thing. People were then giving examples of other films that they're like, this film cost 100 million or something. Like, what? Yes, I know what they're quote unquote spending the money on, but it's like, was that needed, or are you just doing this because you have all the money to throw at it? Like,
That's probably
you're
it. Well, it's like,
like
I think it's a combination
you're creating
of
your own problems.
their excessive use of the expensive thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then if it's Disney asking you to do something, well, you're going to charge them Disney prices. Versus, I'm a independent movie maker, but I'm also really good at CGI.
Mm-hmm.
I myself can do CGI. Not me. I'm saying
Mm-hmm.
like,
Yeah, yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
An independent movie company, they have their own CGI team. They can make CGI and they make it at completely different price scales because they're not
Mm-hmm.
being paid or working for Disney. They're working for themselves and will make a quality CGI product at significantly less. And so they get to win when, so like, Nope.
Mm-hmm.
Great example here. Nope. That's an independent, independent-ish, using CGI that I think worked, and lower budget movie that went success and made what they wanted to make for The Flash, but they spent all that money on the CGI and they're never going to get it, or they might get eventually all of it back. But it's just like, I don't understand. It's like, how fast do you need that money? You guys are bleeding chips.
Yeah.
Like, can it wait? Because like the Batman Returns is still making money. To this day, it's still making money.
It's all yeah, it's all weird, and I don't feel bad when they're like, "Oh, the movie didn't make back the money," because I'm like, "Okay, we're literally listening. What's happening is we're listening to billion-dollar corporations cry."
Yep.
And
Yep.
so I'm like, "Okay, well, like, so what? You have the money. You shouldn't have put all that money up in to begin with. Like, if you're now you're crying. I mean, I didn't get that back, but again, even you crying that you didn't get it back, you still have billions of dollars sitting behind you. So, it's really it's really dumb, especially everything hearing that what's going on with these strikes and how these studios are being just egregiously greedy. And
It's been a while now too. It's like they're not going to.
but I've seen so many.
So I didn't. I forgot about this strike that basically caused the early 2000s
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they had a
reality TV show boom.
yeah, because yeah.
So nowadays it's a little different. We have other versions of reality TV on our phones.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's not the same playing ground.
And people aren't watching TV the way they were. Also, everybody has a YouTube account and a TikTok account. So people are doing reality
Yeah.
shows that aren't on a network. Like my sister watches
Yeah.
Some Family on YouTube, and they have their own show on YouTube that it's them just filming with an iPhone, and they have thousands of subscribers. So yes, a different world.
And right now is the time they're on strike, but like if I as a studio say yes, I'm a particular studio and I make movies and I agree to your terms, then you can work for me. And it's not against the strike. It's like you're striking because these companies aren't. But if a company then starts to agree, then great. Now you can that company is cool to work with, and we can go work for that company.
Oh,
I'm not.
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
understand
But that's a
as
but
companies
that's
why you wouldn't be jumping on this as an
I
opportunity
know.
because you're like, oh wait, all they want is what?
They're literally, but
Oh, let's capitalize
they're
on it.
all
Let's
being
capitalize it.
greedy.
Let's be the first company that says yes, so we can start getting all the writers and actors and everybody on our team, and then we become the big movie house. Take them down. They didn't want to
Mhm.
agree.
They all are being credited. All of the big ones: Disney, Warner Brothers. I'm trying to think who else. Sony. Um, I don't know if that's one of the big studios, but yeah,
Yeah, it is.
yeah.
Yeah, because
All it's
it has James Bond in it,
yeah. All of those big
so it
ones.
is huge.
I saw people broke it down that like what they would have to give, these studios would have to give is like 0.09 of their income.
Of billions of
Exactly.
dollars.
And so it's
So even if it's like 300 million, they're getting 20
yeah,
billion.
exactly. So
Each billion is 1,000 millions, y'all. Remember that.
yeah.
Don't forget that every billion is 1,000. If you had $1,000 right now, I know you would be like
Exactly.
a better for worse. 1,000
Millions.
millions, and I'm like, can I get 200 million of those? Even like
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
say,
yeah.
and they're like, no, oh my god, 200 million? You want 200 million? And I'm
Also
gonna only keep 800 million? That's ridiculous.
then you also have to add in the fact that the 200 million that they gave you, they're about to make right back in 2 minutes. So it's not like they're like, I'm never gonna get this 2 million back. Now I gotta live with 800 million. Like, you're about to get that back really very quickly. Um, it's actually really disgusting, um, and problematic because the fact is, these are actual people. Like these are people making these decisions. These are not. It's not some entity. It's not the Illuminati. It's not like, oh,
And I
we don't
just
know who
don't.
these people are. It is people, human beings, who, in my opinion, lack just humanity and morality, who are making these decisions.
Yeah, and I just don't think the best movies out there are stories that are the persons themselves. I have to go in a minute.
Hmm.
I'll leave you with this word of wisdom. The best movies and the best stories out there are a derivative of the persons themselves that made them. So
Yes.
when you think of a great movie, it's like that is a Tim Burton
Hmm.
movie.
Hmm.
That's a blah 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 movie. That's them. That's um it is their person
Hmm. Yeah.
in it.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, it's because you don't like that person and that style. That's all it is. And if you love it, it is because that person and that storytelling is amazing.
Hmm.
I just don't think AI has that
At all.
possibility at this stage right now. I don't think companies thinking, oh, this is the new way of things, this is what we should be doing, will work because that magic they're looking for is not going to be in AI, at least not now. I mean, I'm not saying
And
forever,
even if
but
it could, again, that's still greedy that like you're going to give a thing, an inanimate thing, an opportunity as opposed to letting an actual human being create and tell a story. Again, I think that's because you don't have to pay that thing. And that thing is not going to come back at you and say, "Oh, I want to be compensated in this way," but like a human being will. So that's disgusting to me. Even if AI can make this amazing, incredible story, the fact that yeah, will sacrifice an
yeah.
actual person's input.
And you'll also always have to agree, or you know, you'll the AI will make you something, but then you'll have to agree on it. And if you make bad decisions, the AI will only do what you tell it to do.
Hmm.
And if you suck, that movie will suck.
Exactly. Exactly.
The AI isn't programmed to make blockbuster films.
Hmm.
That's not what it can do.
Yeah.
It can right now write you a script, but it won't be able to guarantee
But
its
all of the
success.
things in a successful script, and I'm going to be really fast because you got to go. All the things in a successful script, the heart, certain lines being said a certain way and all this stuff. Like AI is not going to get that because it's just regurgitating that like, oh, okay, so these words together this way supposedly enact this emotion, blah blah blah. Like it's not real. It's not coming from an experience, an authentic experience. So yeah, it can't compare. Um, yeah, it's shame on them for literally pulling straight from Black Mirror and being like, let's just take all your likenesses and it'll be fine.
Bad.
It's
I finished the season. Oh, I really have to go.
Okay.
But
okay. All right. Really quick before you go, I saw The Breeze this past weekend and we were laughing together and I was like, man, if we were in high school, me and you, like, it would be something. He was like, yeah, and can you imagine if Digo was with us? I was like, we would run that school. I was like, first of all, we would run the school, but second, we would be in trouble. Like all
we'd be trouble.
Trouble.
Thanks for listening to the Ants Human Stars podcast with Caleb and Digo. Stay connected and get updates about new episodes by visiting our website, antshumanstars.com, and by subscribing wherever you listen to podcasts. If you enjoyed this podcast, please leave us a positive rating and review, and share about us with your community on social media. Thanks, y'all. We really appreciate it.